Our handles on Twitter, and we go by the respective names. On Facebook, I'm at Ann Kiguta, that's Ann with an E. I'll reintroduce my panel to you. Next to me is Mkangi North MP Joe Mutambu. I beg your pardon, sir. Mkangi Central, I beg your pardon. Thank you for that correction. He is the crafter of a new bill that seeks to reduce the number of counties from the current 47 to 25. Across from me is Bobby Mkangi. He is a former Committee of Experts member. Of course, they are the writers of the current constitution. And in the middle is Edward Kisyangani, our resident political analyst. You're all welcome to the program. Prof, you know, given the number of bids we've seen this year to change the number of counties under various pieces of legislation, is there something fundamentally wrong with the way the 47 are set up?
No. In fact, the people who are trying to reduce the counties to some 21, others 18, others 25, these are busy bodies who are involved in misinformation. And the first set of misinformation surrounds the fact that the counties are more expensive, so they try to cut costs so that they are more reasonable in terms of funding. Yet we know they say nothing about the wastage in the national government, and so they keep on saying, when we reduce, we shall save money. Save money to disappear in an angle-leasing type of scandal, or what are we saving money about? Secondly, the national government has failed to fully recognize the existence of county governments. Under Schedule 5, they are supposed to have reformed the administrative setup to accord with the national government. So there is total duplication, that every time you think of an officer working with governors, there is suspicion from the national government that they have to put their watchman to oversee what is happening, and yet they are serving us. Under the constitution, they are supposed to complement each other. So
will be easier to control?
So nobody is talking about the wastage of national government. You will always hear funds are not enough, yet they don't talk about the restructuring of the national government. So in my opinion, these are busybodies. They don't even understand the spirit of the constitution,
like
because Anne, the spirit of this constitution was this: there was accessibility to government services was so poor. Now they pushed the government near the people so that it can get service. Now we are going to have the same mass thing like Western Province, Nyanza Province. You are in Migori, down in Migori, or almost at the border with Busia, you have to go to Kisumu. This is what they want to do. They want to create the bigger units. But the bottom line is, as they do that, they want to save money to be stolen through corruption.
Elsewhere.
Yes, elsewhere. At the national government. So really, there's nothing. In fact, we probably need more units than 47.
There's something I want to follow up on what you said. You said this is also the lack of appreciation of national government of the role of counties. Do you think it's also a control issue, that fewer counties means it will be easier to control them?
You know, it's partly true. They might create tribal kingpins within the bigger 25 or 18 units and control them. The idea is control. If you remember, Anne, do you know why we have had this new constitution in 2010? Mwai Kibaki, on his part, he promised us a constitution within 100 days in 2003. The reason why we didn't have it is that we were not in a state of war. But after 2007, we got this constitution. People didn't think about its implications. They thought it is just another statement in a book. But we got it because we were coming from a background of war. So now, if we allow these people to destroy this constitution during times of peace, we shall need war to get the gains that we have had in this constitution. And
it's interesting for you to argue that way, Prof, because just last week when we were discussing a similar matter, you did argue on this program that there is need for a constitutional referendum. That this document is not perfect.
No.
And that now is the time. Yes.
No, Anne, I argued that there is a need for a constitutional referendum, but I said the questions being asked by CORD and the Jubilee are not the correct questions. And one of the things that I dismissed is the fact that we want to reduce government. I have been very consistent on that. We want to reduce the counties. The second thing I argued about for the side of Jubilee, and many people who follow Jubilee will be with the view that we reduce counties so that we save money. But there is the group loop that is fronted by a court, which I said had put the legislature and the executive back to the same bed. And it's a question of spraying some perfume in that bed. So that's what I said. So I refuse that kind of thing. I have said there is need for a constitutional referendum, but it is not the kind of referendum that we are hearing, one of them being reducing the counties. Those are wrong questions, and I would never support that.
And the work of idlers, who you claim, Joe, is one of other people of Mkangi Central, not keeping you busy enough.
Thank you very much, Anne. Let me say this, and I keep on repeating. One of the mistakes political analysts make or do is to imagine that they think that whatever is in their mind, what they mention, what they say, is the reality on the ground. And the theory they tell people, the sweet theory they tell people about what they've read in their books should be practiced out there. This is a totally different ballgame altogether when it comes to lives of people. We are dealing with the management of people. We are dealing with the management of a country. We have a country called Kenya. This is a country we are dividing into 47 segments. This is a country we are placing in hands of 47 so-called governments. And my good professor here, who is actually a man respected very well in this country, thinks that when he speaks very good and elaborate English in television, that the country should be managed the way he thinks. This is one mistake the political analysts make. Number two.
You haven't made any point so far. What is your point?
I'm coming there slowly. Yes. When you are talking, I was listening.
Yes, but make the point.
So I think professors also, you need also to listen.
Okay, I will.
you see, the worst thing is to send a professor to teach at ECD. You know?
No.
They get very
if you come to your point,
agitated. So because he's a professor, he feels very agitated when he's talking to a politician. But
so you've been a child in this narrative.
The reason why we say there is a need to amend this constitution, it is because there are few articles in this constitution which do not take care of a common mwananchi, the person I represent. Number one, when we created 47 countries, we go back and do our arithmetics, and we look at how much, forget about what is stolen. Let us be realistic. How much money we collect as our revenue. Forget about what we steal or what is stolen, because according to him, money is stolen. Forget about that. Let us go to the books, and we have institutions which are there constitutionally put in place to work for Kenyans. KRAs, yeah? They are the ones who collect revenue for this country.
Are you saying GDP cannot support the 47 countries?
Exactly.
Okay.
That is a simple mathematics. We collect barely what, last financial year.
All right.
We collected 1 trillion. What is our wet bill? Up to date is over 54 to 60%. Correct or not correct? If you have any other mathematics to give us, which maybe you learn in university, you can tell us. But that is the reality. What does that say?
Bobby.
If I may ask you, Mheshimiwa, is it the issue of the number of borders within the country or the boundaries, the structure, or is it about how we manage the resources that we have? Because, and I think in another forum, where I was with you talking about this issue, I did remind you and urge you to recall the debate during the run-up to the referendum that Kenyans eventually affirmatively agreed to the proposal that we had presented to them with the 47 counties. And I did tell you that, in fact, the backlash that we received as a committee of experts, and also at that time the Parliamentary Select Committee from Kenyans, was to the extent that they felt that actually we should have created more counties.
Let me correct you. It was not Kenyans. It was politicians.
It was Kenyans.
No.
It was I was a member of the committee of experts, and I went around the country and I met Kenyans, and the MPs were not there.
Remember the first draft.
And at the end of the day, 67% of Kenyans, not 67% of MPs, 67% of Kenyans endorsed this document with the full knowledge of the fact that there are 47 counties. And if you recall the debate, Professor told us that this debate goes the way back to Bomas, and a number of proposals that have been given, including our harmonized draft constitution, which we presented to Kenyans on the 17th of November 2009, with 8 regions and 74 counties. And what did Kenyans tell us? They did not want the regions. And they told us, go back as a committee of experts, look at a way where you can work out a figure and a structure, not too big, not too small, that we can work with.
What eventually made you decide on 47?
We decided on the 47, one, based on existing internal legitimate boundaries. We traced this to the Provinces and Districts Act of 1992,
right,
which had laid out districts that had been constitutionally constructed. Because you remember, as of that time, with the Moi regime and Kibaki regime, we had districts to the excess of over 200 plus, of which the High Court, ruling in Kisii, I think in 2008 or 2009, did term those as unconstitutional. So we had to go and look at the districts which had been scientifically, forensically looked at and demarcated within Kenya, and come up with a foundation within which Kenya could start the devolved government structure. I want to tell the professor that Article 188 of the Constitution does not say that we have cast these boundaries or the borders of the counties or the numbers in stone. And that is why, sorry, not the professor, Mheshimiwa here, Mheshimiwa, sorry, that Article 188 does provide avenues for us to reconsider this. What I have a problem with those of us who are saying it should be 10, 14, 15 is how have they come up with this figure? Why don't you take this back to 190 then?
I will tell you.
The way Article 188
thank you.
That asks Parliament to come up with a commission. And it gives also the principles or the factors within which the consideration of the boundaries of counties will be looked into. And at the end of the day, this is a question which will be placed back to 190.
All right.
If 190 thinks 25 or 14 or 2, at the end of the day, then we'll have that. If they think it's 100,
fair enough. Either way, we'll have to go to a referendum. But let Joe tell us what the rationale of 25 is. Is this based on population, on land size, on economics?
He elaborated very well that they just went and looked at the former districts. And I want to ask him a simple question. Tell me the size of Lamu County today and the population in Lamu. Does it deserve to be called a county? And actually today, if not today,
why not?
Wait a minute.
Why not?
Today, I read, I was going through my newspapers, and I saw an order issued by a court of Mombasa, I don't know, Mombasa or Kwale, directing IEBC to create more wards in Lamu County. Why? Because there are only 10, and the Constitution says that they are supposed to be 15. Now that
exactly. Did it say that Lamu district
county should be abolished?
Let me. You know, the problem is you guys just like boiling without listening. The reason why the crafters of the wards thought it was not possible, and it was next to impossible to create even a 10 wards in Lamu, because Lamu is too small. Actually, Lamu is even smaller than one of my wards, so to speak. All right, but because these guys, they went out there blindly
And they named 47 counties.
If you say we went blindly, you mean Kenyans were blind to this?
No, it is
because it is Kenyans who endorsed this.
It is, you remember,
after considerable debate.
And I want you to remember what the lady Michuki said.
Parliament was represented in this.
No. Wait. This thing was just rushed. When it was rushed. If you guys were reasoning, wait a minute. If you guys were reasoning, one thing you omitted, and I want to tell you this, you could have created a commission which was to oversee the counties. Today, counties are collecting monies, okay, which is our money which we pay. There is no commission. There is nobody who is supervising these counties. And
the amazing thing is that in your bill, you also talk about the issue of commissions, and now you're telling us...
I'm talking about this.
And whereas it's not that there are no commissions that oversee counties.
Which one?
All the county revenue allocation, all the commissions, administration.
Hold on, let's bring in Professor. Hold on, sir, please.
All those commissions oversee county work. And the other thing is, the Senate is a legislative body that also oversights counties.
You want to show me a governor will go, a Senate will go there and ask the county how much money do you get?
Joe, let's bring someone else in the conversation. Joe, if you would, sir, please. Professor.
Yes, Professor. Well, some of the things that you say are really shocking. You see, listening to you, I realize that you are one of the people who have probably misunderstood the Constitution. And I would like, because Bob, you are a constitutional expert. I hope the meeting in which you are, you notice this weakness, and you need to call a meeting to educate people on some of the clauses in the Constitution.
What has he misunderstood?
One of the things he has misunderstood, he has talked about revenue collection, and he says, how much money do we collect in taxes? And we know there are so many leakages in terms of collection of taxes, so even the figure he's quoting is not a real figure. But the most critical thing, Anne, is when you look at the collection of revenue, you must first read the Constitution and understand that only 15% of the national budget should go to the counties.
Not only, at least.
At least 15%, yes, correct. That's a good correction. At least 15%. Now, it means that when the national government makes more money through taxation, it can probably supply more. Now, when they say that, when you read that Constitution, that at the back of that declaration, it means that counties can also create their own sources of revenue.
Exactly.
Now, what you get in counties that we have now is they all look at the national government for money. There is very little which is happening in the counties in terms of creating revenue. So rather than say there is wastage and put too much pressure on government, and even when national government has already given enough money, we must encourage these counties, and MPs from those counties must look for ways in which all counties can start creating money.
Okay, well, Joe, let me ask you this, if you would quickly. You've mentioned Lamu. Could you just, top of mind, tell us some of the other counties that you think are not viable and need to be scrapped on the basis of population and landmass?
Actually, what I'm doing, you know, my good friends here, they're just talking without reading. I wish this good professor could have gone through what I'm proposing. And I know the moment you will get that paper, he will change his thinking about me and about the entire thing. Number one, what I'm trying to do, I'm not scrapping. I know we are running out of time. What I'm trying to do, I'm trying to merge counties. The reason why I'm merging counties, and I've tried, actually I've gone deeper, because I was proposing 10 counties there before, and then I was also, advised by good professors like him to also take care of Article 87 of the Constitution.
Yes.
All right. So I had to go back on drawing board. My main concern is how much am I going to save? I don't want to say let us kill devolution. Let the devolution be there.
Give us the examples of the ones you want to merge.
For example, there are so many. Not only one. I cannot. I want to merge like Lamu and Tana River. That want to be merged. Mombasa and Kwale. Okay. Makueni and Machakos. Kitui is too big, not because that is where I come from, to remain. Garissa is too big to remain. Turukana is too big to remain. Okay, there are some counties which I'm considering to stand as they are, and others because they are too. Kirinyaga and Nyeri to merge. Kiambu and Muranga to merge.
So let me ask you this.
Nairobi to stand on its own.
Fair enough. Yes. Fair enough. Let me ask you this, because you're proposing to merge at least half the counties. this has to go to a referendum.
Exactly.
What likelihood does it have to succeed, given that Kenyans voted for these counties? Do you expect them again to go back and say, no, we don't want these resources brought close to us? Do you expect the people of this county to support you?
I interact with the Kenyans. Whereas my good friends here, shoe books. Me, I got to speak with the people out there. I tell you,
Kenyan, actually.
Kenyans. No,
I'm a Kenyan.
I'm also
and I also interact with Kenyans. I don't live in a vacuum.
Like you wake up, you take 3 meals a day. There are those Kenyans who don't take even 1 meal for 2 days. Those are the people I'm talking about.
We live with those
how many meals?
Yes, and we live with those. We live with those Kenyans, and we interact with those Kenyans on a daily basis.
No, that is my concern.
That's why I'm telling you.
And how many do you
and that's why I'm asking you, Mheshimiwa.
Yes.
Because there is a constitutionally provided avenue that allows Kenyans to discuss on the issue of how many counties they would want.
That's what I'm saying, Bob.
How the boundaries
with all your wisdom
and borders
arguing without
why don't you provide this without prescribing a number?
Go to Kirinyaga.
Why do you want to prescribe a number?
What I've done, Bob, is just a proposal. It's just a proposal. It will be debated.
As we are right now.
People will have. I did not say this is final, and I did not say this is the law and we are going to go with it.
Yes, Prof.
Mheshimiwa has talked about Kirinyaga and Nyeri being merged, and then he has said Muranga and Kiambu being merged. What is his idea of big? Is it population he's talking about, or is it territory, or is it certain strategic interest? Because you know when he says Kitui remains because it is big. What is the population of Kitui compared to the population of Kiambu?
I've told you.
What is the population of Kitui compared to Kiambu?
I've told you. No. I've told you.
You let
me tell you. I've considered Article 89. Read it is here. I've considered that. So I don't want to elaborate.
No, but I'm asking
188.
Yeah.
Please.
Sorry. Yes.
188.
No, 89. Read it. It will tell you what it says. I have considered that, and I want to tell you, gentlemen, before you even just boil, read
we are using
my document, and I will tell you. I tell you this. You will also have time to bring your
just answer my question.
And if it is not good, you will tell us this is not good.
Let's
you are
see.
just
89 is on delimitation of electoral units.
Say what?
Yes, but
on this
electoral unit.
Yes, but you see that's why I'm asking. We are using your own words. You say that Kitui is very big; it must remain. But in comparison with Kiambu, which one is more densely populated between Kitui and
as you ponder on that answer, let's see what Kenyans think of your proposal. I really support that, although I would want them scrapped. Okay, somebody supports the reduction. This constitution is a heavy burden to Wanjiko. We need to punguza mzigo. Bobby, what do you think of punguza mzigo? Punda imechoka.
I think it's a bit too early, and I think we've also looked at the other parameters, including the wastage, the corruption, the duplication of services and service provision. I think if we are attentive to what Wananchi want, we would not have this parallel structure, which now is adding a lot of wastage.
All right, let's see some more views. My thoughts: not to reduce the number of counties, but to reduce the number of appointed MPs, women reps, and MCAs.
Yeah, in my view.
The best strategy is to amend the Constitution.
That's number one.
Thank you. The best strategy is to amend the Constitution and to take note of corruption and devolution. Kenyans were not created for the Constitution, but the Constitution was made for Kenyans. Let's re-evaluate it. Gentlemen, I thank you very much for your views. As you have rightly said, Joe, it's not cast in stone. I suppose we'll see when it comes up for debate if there'll be any revisions. Thank you all for coming. This, I should also say, is our last opinion court of 2015. It has been such a great show. Prof, what was your highlight, the best in politics in 2015? Real quick.
The best in politics is the escape of President Kenyatta.
To where?
After he became out of the Hague completely, and he no longer became a suspect.
All right, that's a hell for you. What was the worst?
The worst is Eurobond.
Okay. We wind it up there and back with the businesses after this. Thank you.